Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Battle of the Bangers Season 6. I'm your host. My name is Tyler, and as always, I am joined by the boys. We've got Brennan.
What's going on, folks?
And we've got Kyle.
Hello.
So, if you were just joining us, we are doing a battle of the top 8 most streamed Polyphia songs according to Spotify. I'm going to load up the bracket here. We can see the damage that's been done. GOAT overtook Champagne. OD took over Nasty. So far, it's just top seeds taking over every single round. But will today be the first upset? It is the number 3 seed, 40 ounce, versus the number 6 seed, Goose. Also, as a disclaimer, so that we don't get people in the comments saying things, this is being recorded previous to the release of Polyphia's new album. It is obviously reaching the interwebs after that fact, but we are in the past right now recording this, so we do not have that as a comparison to make to anything.
We're hyped,
Keep
man.
that in mind.
Hype as shit for this new album.
I am very hyped for this new album. And we also have a full album review up on the channel right now. We haven't recorded it yet, but it's there before this because time is crazy. I feel like a goddamn time traveler right now. Speaking of time traveling, we're taking it back to the year... I don't know what year that this fucking album came out.
2015 or 16?
2017. I loaded it up and found 2017. Most hated EP. This is the EP I've listened to the least of their discography for whatever reason. I don't actually know why. I never really came back to this one as much. And today, both of our contenders are from this EP. So that's cool, I guess. So yeah, we got 40 ounce, which is way more popular than I realized. We got Goose, which is number 6 seed. We're going to talk about them. We're going to break them both down. We're going to see who wins this fight. Brennan, as always, I'm going to start with you. Let's start with Goose this time. Let's talk about the underdog.
So for me, this matchup is kind of similar to our last matchup as far as like how the tracks kind of stack against each other. Although I feel like the last matchup, Nasty was a lot more extreme with the Jason Richardson feature. Because it seems like one track is a lot more like, not necessarily one note, but like they have a groove and they fucking stick to it. Being Goose and 40 ounce, they're fucking everywhere. It seems like with instrumentals. Goose though is still really tasty. I like the sample at the start where the dude's like Grey Goose baby.
Yeah.
I thought that shit was pretty dick. And then like I said, they kind of follow like a very like distinct pattern, very distinct groove, like funk, can't remember the word Kyle used for it before, but and they kind of ride it for the song. Like it has a good pace, sometimes it slows down, sometimes they give the guitars a little bit of room to breathe. Sometimes the drums kind of do their deal. But all in all, I'd say Goose is the OD to 40 ounces Nasty in this matchup.
Interesting.
Although I'd say OD and Nasty do it a bit better, but you can see in these songs, like this is like the stepping stone EP to New Levels, New Devils, because both of these tracks kind of have callbacks to their old stuff, but you can see like them starting to transition like their new style that New Levels, New Devils kind of ends up morphing into. But Goose is a solid track. I mean, definitely worthy of the 6th spot. So, interested to see how we put it against 40 ounce though. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Kyle, what do you think about this song? Clearly you're listening to it right now,
Yeah.
or you're just jamming to the
Just
tune
nothing.
of your own thoughts?
As I do
don't know,
usually,
but,
Tyler.
yeah.
But no, I love these tracks. Much like you, this is definitely one of the ones I just don't come back to very often. In fact, like there are parts of the song that I just like don't recall at all because I listened to them so little. And I was like, oh shit, what's happening? Like specifically in Goose, there's like that run around like the minute 30 mark that I just fucking like legitimately melted into my fucking couch while listening to it earlier. I was just like, what the fuck was that? Some crazy shit. Why don't I listen to this more? But I love, like, kind of like you said, Brennan. I really love the flow of this song. I think, like, especially from the start, there's a really cool build that happens all the way into that big first, like, trap hit that kind of hits with the first chorus. You can definitely feel the trap influence and, like, the electronic influence, like, really heavy in both of these tracks in particular. But it just really fucking, like, takes over the chorus in a way that, like, evolves the song in a really cool way. My other favorite thing about the track is, like, around, like, the 2.5 minute mark, you go into, like, this switch up that, like, it completely leaves the electronic-y bit into, like, this, like, little back and forth guitar thing that then builds back into a cool trap thing that, like, pushes into the end again. It's like, that's just really cool writing. Like, holy shit. Like, you definitely can see, like you were saying, Brennan, like, that this is, like, the stepping stone towards, like, this awesome fucking, like, identity that they find in New Levels, New Devils. And I love it. I fucking love it. This song's so good.
Oh yeah.
Love them Goose. Love them Goose.
love myself some Canada Geeses. I really like this song. I'm gonna say, like, bad on me for not listening to this more in the past. You know me. If you've seen any single video on this channel before, that you know that I love songs that build. And Goose be building. Goose be building like Bob, as they say. It's just from, like, the first minute is just such a good build up to the chorus, and then the chorus is very much just, like, you know, bass blast centric, and it makes it hit that much harder because of the journey that it took to get you there, in my opinion. And it's so cool, it's so effective, it just works. And like Kyle said, that switch up around, like, the 2.5 minute mark, I think that is, like, my favorite part of the entire song. Because the drums go ham, specifically on that hi-hat. He be doing all those crazy trap diddles and shit. Like, it's a wild ride, and I think that really just adds a whole new layer to the song that just elevates it to even greater heights. I think this is an incredible song. I have no flaws with it. I think that this is just absolute amazing song. Deserves to be in this top 8. But we obviously have to compare it to 40 ounce, which we're going to talk about next. So, Brennan, I'm going to pass it back to you. Spill the tea on 40 ounce.
40 ounce to me is definitely a lot more intricate with instrumentals. You know, they go in a lot more, like, crazy runs. You know, definitely the guitars are a lot more forefront for me, while Goose kind of just, like, trods along as, like, an entire song. But, like, 40 ounce, like I say, it's way more intricate. It's way more involved instrumentally. It's more, like, in your face, I'd say, than Goose. While, like, you know, Goose has the nice build. Goose has the nice, like, flow to it. 40 ounce is just like, let's fucking kick this thing off. And they just go at it, like, pretty much the entire track.
Yeah.
Man, it's a slapper. Like, kind of similar to you guys. Like, I wish I came back to ZP a little more, because I think both these songs are kind of bops. But, man, 40 ounce. I don't really know what I'd take. Because, like I said, to me, it's kind of like Nasty versus OD. Like, you have a similar situation here with Goose versus 40 ounce. One song is more groovy with some cool stuff going on, while one's, like, way more intricate but not necessarily as cohesive. So shit, I really don't know, man. It's gonna be a tough vote
For sure.
Kyle, what's up?
Yeah, man. I mean, in the way that Goose kind of starts off with, like, a little clip and then, like, has a lot of building to it, you immediately get 40 ounce over here with just, like, they set the fucking tone immediately. You're on the move, you're running, you're fucking you're fucking dead sprint. And it's just, like, the licks are fucking crazy. I love the way that they just are so effortless throughout this entire fucking track. As they get into, like, the big fucking drop of the chorus, I put in my notes, fuck, that drop was the truth. Something
true.
about the big fucking heavy hits in, like, specifically the chorus, but throughout this track in particular, just feels so good, dude. I personally, I think I'm liking the way that they're using that electronic-y trap building and, like, big hit bits in 40 ounce a little bit better, mainly because it feels as though it's, like, kind of interwoven with what they do. You know, they're very, like, fancy instrumentals, very intricate shit. Whereas in Goose, it kind of feels like the electronic-y bits kind of take over a little bit at times. And yeah, I don't know. It's tough, man. Like, even like just listening to them right now, they're both so good in their own ways. I don't know, man. There's just moments in 40 ounce too where like it just like completely slows down,
Yeah.
and like completely cuts down into like these little like just a snap happens, to like kind of like push you into the next bit. That's so cool. I don't know, man.
And like,
this is tough for me.
And that's the thing too. Like 40 ounce has its own moments of building as well, where like even though it hits the ground running, you get to like around the 3-minute mark, and they've essentially broken it down into a whole different thing, and they're like building it back up, climbing up a whole other mountain, and there's so much like structural depth, I think, in 40 ounce that like, even though the song starts out kind of overwhelming because there's just so much happening, I think they still find ways of like carving out little areas of like, we've been full blast this whole song, but like here's a little taste of something different just to kind of keep things fresh and like integrating that throughout. And it's a wild ride. Like 40 ounce is just an absolutely wild ass song. I really don't know which way I'm gonna go on this one. This is tough. Does anybody? We are around a time where we have to vote. Does anybody know where they're going?
Oh, 40 ounce, easy.
Well, damn. Okay.
Yeah. Like just listening to him again, I'm like talking about him. I think 40 ounce stomps Goose. I mean, let's be real. The fact that it has such intricacy, it builds, it hits you with different like, different tempos, different parts of songs. Like knows when to transition, knows when to fucking like crank up the heat, knows when to chill out. Like to me, 40 ounce is like a way more comprehensive, deep experience. So 40 ounce by a mile.
Okay, but like Goose got that Grey Goose, baby. So like I'm gonna vote for Goose. That's gotta hold some weight too, right? Like we've barely talked about that. I think they're both absolute masterclasses.
I'm the one that brought it up
in songwriting. Yes, and I'm bringing it up again. They're both absolute masterpieces in songwriting. I'm gonna go with opening of Goose gives it the edge in my book. You may say that's stupid, but I think it is stupid. If this is a blowout, I expect Kyle is probably not going to vote for Goose, so fuck it. I will do it. If you do vote for Goose, that's awesome.
Fair enough.
I don't care which song moves on because these are both great, but I like Goose. I'm going to vote for Goose.
Wow. As you probably saw, I was about to jump in there and be like, you know what? I know exactly where I'm going because I was feeling pretty confident. Did not expect Brennan to also jump out there like that. I was like, damn, all right, cool, fuck yeah. But I'm also going 40 ounce. I feel like for me, it does get the edge for the reasons I said before with like, the way they use the trap bits in there, as well as the fact that I think just personally, I hold like that like technical interweaving in and out of these different ideas that all somehow flow perfectly together anyways over this like great song in Goose that has this phenomenal building that feels so fucking good. Masterclass in building, like you said, Tyler. But I think just objectively, I have to go with 40 ounce.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's a good song. So
it do be good.
Yeah, that is why it is the third seed. And that is why it's moving on. Once again, no upset today. 40 ounce is moving on to the semifinals where it's going to take on the winner of our final preliminary round. So Strange versus Playing God. We're going to be doing that matchup next week. It's going to be a fun time. If you want to be notified when this next matchup drops, make sure you subscribe to the Talks a Lot Boys and ring a ding a ding a ding a ding a ding a dingle dangle dongle the bell just as many times as possible. Actually, don't do that because if you click it twice, it'll probably unring it. So just ring it once and then you'll be notified when the new episode of this absolute blast of a season, if I do say so myself, drops. Also, make sure to give this video a like if you liked it, because that really does help out just a ton. And let us know in the comments below which song you prefer between 40 ounce and Goose. Did we make the right decision? Do you agree with me that the line at the beginning gives it the weight that it needs to push forward? Was I wrongly stopped here Let me know in the comments below. Call me stupid. I welcome it. That's all we got for today. So we've been the Talks a Lot Boys, and we'll talk a whole lot more next time. Bye-bye.